We'll call the meeting to order. It is a regular city council meeting for the city of Algonac, Tuesday, October 19th, 2021. May we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Dundas.
Here.
Councilman Clair.
Here.
Councilman Gillis.
Here.
Councilwoman Harris.
Here.
Councilman Martin.
Here.
Councilman Scarbeck.
Here.
Mayor Stoneburner.
Here.
One present.
At this time, we'll take a moment of silent prayer, and if you would keep the family of John Strike in your prayers tonight, that would be a good thing. Will everyone please stand for the pledge? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a motion to approve this evening's agenda?
So moved. Support.
Take your pick. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we have our agenda. Tonight we have two presentations, and first up is our Algorithmic Asset Award. Tonight we're honoring Snoopy's 40th anniversary, and Councilman Corey Blair will do the honors.
Tish, Heather, why don't you guys come up, bring your family. Come on up, all of you. Let's go. All of you.
You too.
So if you've lived in Algonac, passed through Algonac, anytime you're gonna see Snoopy's. And tonight, this Asset Award is for Snoopy's Doghouse and their 40th anniversary. It is with great pride that we acknowledge and celebrate 40 years in the city. We are grateful for your dedication and commitment to serving the residents of the city and surrounding communities. Owner Tish and her daughter Heather offer a fun neighborhood establishment where all are welcome and treated as family. Thank you for all your hard work that has kept Snoopy's here for so many years. We're proud to call you one of our own, signed by our mayor, Mayor Terry Sober. Want to say anything?
No, thank you very much.
Again, Snoopy's is, I haven't been here long, but I'm there often. It's just a great place to hang out, very comfortable in a great neighborhood environment. I'm sure everybody's been here. Or there.
Tom and I were there 40 years ago.
Let's get it for a picture, guys.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Oh, absolutely, thank you. Pictures. Steve.
It ain't a picture. Get up here.
Michael.
Go get a picture. Oh, come on, I'll go.
Michael.
And smile.
That's a tough one there.
Oh, there it is. There's a half a smile.
All right, everybody. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
For those of you that don't know, Tish and her entire family are dog lovers. So comes the name Snoopy's. But they are not only running a 40-year establishment for 40 years. Tish and Snoopy's have been very supportive in the community for charities. Blue Water Humane Society. You may have seen pictures on Facebook of the softball games on Harson's Island, and Tish is very diplomatic and says in the end, you know, when she's asked who won, it's the dogs, it's the pets that have won. But she's there for the bowling for the Goodfellows in December. If ever there's a family in need, Tish and her whole family, they rally around our community all the time. And for that, we thank you too, not just for the burgers and beer.
Especially for the
All right. Next, we, have a building department presentation by our city manager. Mrs. Gerstenberg?
Thank you, Mayor Stoneburner. So today we have a presentation on the building department, which encompasses blight and code enforcement, building, of course, and rental inspections. So why does Algorithmic have a building department? To ensure the safety of the work and its compliance with building, construction, and zoning codes. Inspections protect our current owners and our future owners from liability and future costly repairs. So who decides what needs a permit? The state of Michigan decides. Since 1999, Michigan has required that all buildings comply with a statewide code. Builders comply with only one code, the 2015 Michigan Residential Building Code, regardless of location within the state. But that code specifies when permits are required and when they are not. Can I have one building permit for multiple projects? Yes, you can. For example, one permit may include a new deck and a gazebo, or roof, windows, and siding. When should I apply for a permit? The Michigan Building Code requires a permit to be applied for, approved, and issued prior to starting any work. How many inspections do I need? The number of inspections required is dictated by the Michigan Building Code, not the inspector. How much will a permit cost? Permit fees vary based on the type of permit and the scope of the project. Inspection fees are based on the value of providing the service. Building permit fees also include a fee based on construction value, except for some exceptions, and may also include plan review fees from a third-party reviewer. My contractor called me last minute and I don't have a permit. What should I do? You should contact the city immediately to discuss your situation and work out a solution. So how about a rental housing ordinance? Why does Algorithmic have one? To protect the safety and welfare of both the occupants of rental housing and the general public, and to control blight and maintain property values. If I own a rental, do I need a license? Yes. The owners of both single-family and multiple-family rental housing are required to license their properties annually before occupancy. Are inspections required? Yes, they are, at least once every 2 years. Rentals are inspected by the building official, blight officer, and rental housing inspector. All issues must be corrected before a license is issued. What about Airbnbs and VRBOs? Do they fall under this ordinance? Yes, they do. How are these license fees determined? A review of charges by similar municipalities, an assessment of the cost to provide the service. Was there a record of all rental repairs, complaints, and corrections? Yes, there is. Every owner or operator of rental housing is required to keep records of all requests for repair and complaints made by tenants and of all the corrections made. These must be made available to the city upon request. So why does Algorithmic have a blight and code enforcement program? Because blight lowers property values, negatively impacts the economy, increases crime, and damages residents' well-being and connection to their community. These are examples of blight or non-compliance with city code. Storing vehicles on vacant lots, outdoor storage, parking on the grass, storage of building materials not in use, roofs with holes or caved in, trash cans visible from the street, unstacked firewood, home exterior needs painting, offensive odors, unfit for human occupancy, tent sheds or structures, dismantled motor vehicles, grass, vegetation, or weeds higher than 10 inches, no address numbers on your house, installing gravel in your front yard where there once was grass, and parking your boat there. So here's some examples. Storage of construction materials not in use. You can see the brick pavers stacked up along the wall there. The exterior needs repairs and painting. Unfit for human occupancy. Parking on the grass and in the front yard. Trash cans visible to the public. Camper on the grass and in the front yard. The porch is in need of repair. The roof needs repair. Tent, shed, or structure. Outdoor storage. These are all examples here in Algorithmic. These are examples that are not blight or code violations. Leaving your vehicle unlocked at night. 3 pieces of firewood in your yard. Sunflowers, unless they are blocking a line of vision and creating a traffic hazard. living in your camper because you have COVID or avoiding someone in the house who has COVID, leaving your shed door open, parking your car on an existing gravel driveway. So what kind of tools do we have to fight blight? In 1999, when Michigan adopted the statewide Uniform Construction Code, it also mandated statewide use of the International Property Maintenance Code. In 2019, Algorithmic adopted the IPMC for the state of Michigan. Algorithmic had been using the Michigan Property Maintenance Code since 1990. The International Property Maintenance Code is specific as to what may be considered blight. These are the other ordinances that the city has in place in order to fight blight. The Dangerous Building Ordinance, the Anti-Blight Ordinance, the Disorderly House Ordinance, and the Snow Removal Ordinance. So what is the process of enforcement? What are the procedures? For the first violation, a notice of violation letter is sent. A notice of violation letter is not a ticket. It is a letter that comes in the mail. It's on city letterhead addressed to the property owner. The property owner has time to remedy the violation, and the city will work with the property owner to resolve the issues. Requests for additional time are usually granted. The blight officer does not know your personal circumstances. For example, perhaps someone in your household has cancer or has been out of town. The blight officer does not know your personal circumstances when you receive a notice of violation. That's why communication is key, to call and communicate with the city, and the city will work with you to resolve any issues. So these are what the notice of violation notices look like. First notice of violation that you get is very simple and says, recent inspection of the property address above noted a violation of the following city ordinance, and that mentions the ordinance. Violation, please remove or repair the fence on the north property line. Your next inspection is scheduled for November 15th. The city is committed to preserving and improving property values. If you have any questions, please contact the blight officer at blight@cityofalgonac.org. Now, if your first notice does not say anything about a ticket or jail time or anything like that. Usually it's on your third or fourth notice that you then receive a notice that says the same thing, but now it says failure to address the violation by the next inspection may result in the following action. Could be a criminal complaint against you at the district court, could be a misdemeanor punishable by 90 days, $500 fine. The blight officer may cause the blight to be corrected, and it may become a lien on your property. So once again, please correct the blight and contact me with any questions. So up to 4 notices of violation letters may be sent. Failure to comply may result in a ticket, a review by the Dangerous Buildings Commission, and/or district or circuit court action. The blight may be corrected by the city at property owner expense, which may become a lien on the property. Tickets in court are a last resort. The city hopes to work with everyone to resolve it before it gets to that point. There were 12 tickets that were issued in 2021 in Algorithmic. 6 were not even Algorithmic residents. No one who has attended a 2021 city council meeting and spoke during public comments has received a ticket. So these are some frequently asked questions. Can I park on my grass? No. A 1996 city zoning ordinance prohibits parking on the grass. Now, your existing gravel driveway may still be used for parking, but make sure that it is well maintained. Sometimes it's difficult to tell whether an older gravel driveway still exists. Any new driveway or parking pad to be installed does require a permit and must be either asphalt or concrete. Where can I store my trash cans? Since 1988, city ordinance has required that all trash cans be stored out of public view, no closer to a neighboring residence than to the residence of the trash owner. Why do I need my address posted on my house? Well, both the Michigan Residential Building Code and the International Property Maintenance Code both require buildings to have a legible address. The address helps mail carriers, utility services, and most importantly, emergency responders find your house. House numbers are crucial for emergency responders. Whether or not your house address is visible can mean the difference between life and death. But I have my address on my mailbox. Sometimes mailboxes are only on one side of the street, or they are together in a mailbox bank, making it difficult to see which mailbox belongs to which building. In an emergency, your visible address could mean the difference between life and death. Do city ordinances ever get changed? Yes. City Council has added or amended 18 ordinances since 2017. Some were new, like the golf cart ordinances. Some were less restrictive, allowing campfires. All the ordinances are introduced at City Council one meeting and adopted at another. The ordinances are all drafted by the city attorney, and any changes to the zoning ordinance have an additional step. They must first be reviewed by the planning commission before they go to City Council. The city cannot change the Michigan Building Code or the International Property Maintenance Code. So I received a notice of violation and I think the city ordinance should change. What should I do? Review the ordinance and contact the city. Explain why it should be changed and how it can be improved. We also have an Algorithmic Beautification group. The purpose of this group is to connect people who need help to people who are willing and able to help to reduce blight and beautify our community. So the city staff does work closely with different organizations in the community, and if they do find, for example, like a senior citizen that is really in need of assistance, then they work with these groups around in the community to help that senior citizen get the assistance that they need. Thank you, Mayor Stoneburner and members of council.
Thank you.
Mayor, talk a little bit more about the international regulation, international building code. That's mandated by the state of Michigan, correct?
That is correct, Mr. Thomas.
All right. Next, we'll go on to our public comment. Please keep in mind that you are able to have 5 minutes to speak. State your name. Well, we'll wait. Wait 2 seconds. Please state your name and your address when you come up, and also be respectful of the speakers and city council and the democratic process during the comments and throughout the meeting. Also, you are here to address city council only.
Claudia. So I have a question. First of all, my letter was the first letter that I presented last week, was my first letter, and yes, I was jailed of $500 threatening. So that somehow doesn't click the same way. Then I would like to find out, can I see the picture, please? I'd like to find out why this was sent to me, and I was really shocked by it, and I was very upset by it. I almost didn't go to work, that's how upset I was, because my house was called blighted. And then I received this in my mail, and I was wondering why the Councilmember Gillis is allowed to have all this, plus the garbage can. Piles, long grass, if you can see, and if you get a ticket and threaten to go to jail for $500. I also received these pictures. I received a lot of
We were
pictures.
cited for 2 piles
Of-
of, he has 6.
The blight,
Point of order.
the blight code enforcement officer's wife, parked in the grass and the right of way.
We are not here to discuss individual people.
Well,
You can
okay, but-
present, but we will not be answering any questions.
You
and
don't
will-
need to, you
you
don't
are
need to
not-
answer anything.
You're
I
not,
just wanna show the blight.
excuse me,
moving.
excuse me, you're not to have a conversation, you will
I
not
don't
have a
have
conversation with the
I'm
city
German,
manager.
this is how I talk.
That's fine, but you
So
address
I'm
us,
just-
not the city manager.
City council.
I can talk, look wherever I want to. I was told that was a free country. So I'm just looking, I'm not doing anything. This is the blight officer's vehicle in the grass in front of her mother's house. This is her wife, blocking the sidewalk on the grass, same thing, in the right of way. I have gotten tickets because my husband parked in the grass. Like I said, this,
Mayor Snowburner, may I answer this question?
this,
I have a permit on that property
for long grass?
for the dirt. I have a land disturbance permit.
Oh, do you, for what's that for? You're not supposed to come to me anyway. You're not supposed to talk to me. There's a garbage can The grass is longer than 12 inches, so please don't talk to me. I'm just making a point. Please
No.
don't threaten me with jail. The first letter was.
We can talk about your issue.
Nobody ever calls me back, nobody ever makes a meeting. I've been asking for it. I mean, I do work too. I work my 10 hours, 4 days a week, just like you. I've been asking for meetings, and I've hadn't gotten one. So, you know.
I'll talk with you after the meeting if you'd like.
Yeah. I'm just trying to make a point, just like you guys do. Come on, Robert.
Robert Cleveland, 1065 Smith Street. As long as you're going to engage the public, what is your permit for?
Land disturbance permit,
Okay, when did you get it?
60 days ago.
60 days.
It's older, that's
This dirt is older than 60 days. This dirt is older than 60 days, okay? Let me explain something. I'm gonna address everyone. Back in the 80s, I was sent to Michigan State University, okay, to a supervisor's school. 2 weeks. The first thing that was taught was every morning was protect your family. Family is first. You got the clock running? The second thing is, your men should respect you. They should follow you and do as you ask. As long as you do it, and they do it out of respect, not fear. There's not more people here tonight because they fear our government, okay? Mr. Blair, you said at one time, we must be doing a great job, we keep getting reelected. We're a city without a bank. What has the city done to bring business into the city? Okay? We got, the city manager utterly put a lie on there, whether you'd like to hear it or not. The first letters contain threat of jail and or of fine. We've got them at home. If you like, we'll bring them into you. Okay? That was a lie. That was a straight up lie. And this facade addressed issues that I have heard the community talk about. Storage doors left open. Parking on the lawn. Okay? As I said before, I parked on a lawn once, got a threatening letter, my wife did, that she was going to go to jail and get fined if I did it again. I explained to Mr. Berg, this is our council, Mr. Berg, that I had spoken to the Justice Department under the Americans with Disabilities Act. And that they asked me if anybody parks on the grass in Algorithmic. I said about 75% of the people, because parking in the right of way is illegal. I could go park my car in the right of way in front of your house and there's nothing you could do. But I can't right now because you've got signs in your right of way, which is illegal. And I've heard, well, we give them permission. You can't give people permission to break the law. I dealt with the law for 30 years. You cannot give people permission, okay? So Mr. Bendlis is in violation, okay? You have, the city manager has taken the code enforcement officer who has 0 qualifications for that job, 0. She works with inmates. She treats the people of this community as inmates, okay? Her thing said, the code enforcement doesn't know the circumstances. Absolutely not true. She used to cut my grass, her and her husband or wife, whatever it is, used to cut my grass because they know I can't. So all they would have taken from Lori is a knock on my door. A courteous knock, which my officer did. Mr. Kleeman, your dirt piles. I could have said, well, I'm working on it. Have your church do it. Contact your church. Get a contractor. I said I'm on fixed income. Well, everybody now gets on a fixed income. I asked for a meeting over a month ago with the city manager and the code enforcement officer. I have yet to even got a call back. My wife and I have stood here for 20 years and brought up concerns about things. Okay? And we have not got one answer. Not one. Not one from you, Mr. Gillis, saying to the city manager during the meeting, find out about this for these people. And speaking yours, I will get back with you, Mr. Kleeman. Did you get your meeting? No. I attend a lot of commission meetings over my years, but this is the most, you put up a wall, you dictate what you can talk about. People should be able to talk about what they want to talk about. You say codes have inspections for a reason, okay? I know, you're not gonna look at me, I know Mary, you called me a bully
Robert,
before,
come on,
but
it's done.
I paid,
Please, quiet.
I paid for a roof inspection, a roof permit. After being told I don't need one by the city manager, when I questioned, shake your head, you're not supposed to communicate with me. When I questioned why Commissioner Thompson didn't have a permit to put a roof on his house, she said he doesn't need one. My wife was present. I said, okay, so my roof shingles weren't delivered 15 minutes and your building inspector was at my house threatening, weaponizing the sheriff's department to bring the sheriff over and shut me down because I need a permit. And I said, I will march him off the property. Those were my words. This is my home. Man's home is his castle. Figure it out, it's his castle. Okay, and your house is probably not grandfathered in. That was probably for Mel King. You can't grandfather a code violation. But anyways, that's okay. You don't have to talk to me, because you're not gonna do anything either, okay? We inquired, don't slander
Your
your
time is up.
My time is not up.
Your time is up, sir.
We
Leave the
inquired
podium.
as to
We
why.
You do something, that's all.
Well, I'm marking it too, and it ain't 15 minutes.
Sit 5 minutes. Sit down and behave, Mr. Clair.
You're not gonna do anything anyway.
That's kind of the reason why I got in this. Only because.
For the record, could you state your name
I'm
and your
sorry,
address?
yes, I
I'm
can.
sorry.
I'm sorry. Don 8710 Smith Street. You know, and you guys know that I've done this before, when tensions start getting a little out of control, and try to, help people take their concerns and do them in a way that is constructive. And there's been a few times where they haven't been constructive. I was disappointed over the last 3 meetings. And I'm hoping that as things go forward, it gets better. There seems to be a bit of disengagement. They have concerns. I thought Mr. Blair said it very well at the last meeting, that there are some gray areas, that can be worked out a little bit better than they are on both sides. I hate to see this get to a point. I mean, and I told a few people, people have said that they want to come up and protest. Okay, that might make you feel good for a hot minute, but that's about it. My concern is that they think that that's all that's gonna make a difference, that they can't come to a council meeting and speak to you as a group, because it's not gonna do anything, or it's gonna be talk to the city manager. I felt really bad for Mr. Schaefer, and Jim Oceanshine. They've talked to the city, especially Mr. Schaefer. I mean, and they've said that at the podium, where, yes, I've talked to the city manager, building department, everybody I can think of. They don't come here because they haven't done their due diligence. They come here because they've tried every other thing. And I think that that's where the disengagement at council table is. Because when people come here, they've tried other avenues, hopefully, most of them. Protesting outside isn't talking to city council. Nothing's going to get done that way. There needs, I said, October 16th, 2018, I stood here. And quite a few of you were here when I stood there. You work for the residents, all of them. Even the guy down the street that you don't like. Even the people who do not attend the same city events that you do. You work for them all. And I don't think a lot of them are getting that. these days. To hear people say that they feel they're being targeted, I hate hearing that. And that's where there needs to be more engagement between city council and the residents. A lot of people don't wanna get 50 feet of city hall. Me, I got no problem. To which I've said, trust me, guys, I got no problem. You got an issue, come to me. Like I said, I don't have a problem. And you guys should know this by now. I don't do this stuff for kicks and giggles. And there's a few of you up here who didn't have any problem with me getting up here to speak the last time I got involved with things. So you don't get to bust my chops for speaking about this, because the reason I'm doing this is because the tension in the city, again, shouldn't be this way. Everything looks great. The events and stuff are great. Nicola had a blast last weekend. I thought he was gonna walk down there and come back and go, it's boring, I'm gonna go play my Xbox. Saw him walking back, and he came in and said, I gotta get my Halloween costume on. And I'm like, sweet. And that's great, but if this gets worse, that's what I'm trying to do, so, see ya.
Thank you.
Ronald Bay.
See, it's not just a
Brian, Davey, 6'7", Dennis Smith, I wanted to address the whole council, everybody here. The IMPC should be disbanded. If you read it truly, it gives the code enforcement officers rights to go on your property. Corey Blair, Rocky Gillis, Mike Memphis, Terry, all of you. Anytime they feel that to me is starting to bring communism into our city here. We need to have rights too. Other thing is, this has been a boating town for years. It started here. People can't park their boats next to their house, it's blight. This ordinance needs to change because we've always been a boating town. Terry, you used to park your boat next to your house. I mean, there's a lot of people here that address this issue, and it needs to be addressed because there are boats here. People don't feel like paying $2,000, $3,000 for 6 months storage. Boats are expensive as it is, taxes and insurance fees, gas. So I hope council addresses this issue because it needs to be changed. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Do you have anything to add? Okay, all right. Thank you very much, everyone. Next, we have our city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor Stoneburner. My usual request regarding yard waste, to continue to put yard waste in paper leaf bags or 30-gallon trash containers. The leaf vacuum will be out November 8th through the 19th, and will complete one rotation of the city starting at the south end. If you missed that window, the last Ontario yard waste pickup will be November 26th, the day after Thanksgiving. I also have to read this evening is a September 29th, 2021 letter from the city attorney regarding Alan Schaefer and the August 20th, 2020 ZBA meeting. Prior to me reading this correspondence, please know that the city attorney, the city manager, building official, city clerk have all met and or spoken to Mr. Schaefer on numerous occasions about this issue before we requested a letter from Mr. Downey regarding this issue. So this letter from Mr. Downey is dated September 29th, 2021, regarding Mr. Alan Schaefer, and it was addressed to our city clerk, Ms. Borges. City resident Alan Schaefer appeared at the September 7th regular meeting and addressed City Council about his concerns with the determination made by the Zoning Board of Appeals at its August 20th, 2020 meeting. On September 23rd, he presented correspondence to Council Member Ray Martin and to the ZBA that served as a follow-up to his oral remarks of September 7th. You have requested that I provide guidance on how to respond to Mr. Schaefer's September 23rd note. In August of 2020, the ZBA considered an appeal of a permit denial to replace a boathouse at 1800 St. Clair River Drive. Upon hearing the evidence presented by the property owners and through the attorney, the ZBA applied the necessary standards of evaluation and determined to grant the appeal. Additionally, the ZBA imposed conditions of approval, as is their prerogative under the ordinance. The authority granted in the ZBA comes from two sources: the City Code, Chapter 50, the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act. The ZBA conducted its August 2020 hearing in accordance with rules provided by the above-mentioned authorities. City Clerk Sandra Belke published notice of the hearing on July 28, 2020, more than 15 days before the hearing date is required by law, and mailed all residents within 300 feet of the property at the center of the appeal written notice and instructed them how to participate in the electronic meeting necessitated by the global pandemic. At the meeting, the ZBA deliberated based on the evidence presented, applied the appropriate standards of evaluation, made findings of fact based on their analysis, and granted the variance sought by the property owners. The ZBA's findings were memorialized in minutes taken at the meeting. Those minutes were approved by the ZBA on September 17th, 2020. Pursuant to statute, the decision of the ZBA is final. Mr. Schaefer lives at 1810 St. Clair River Drive. He was provided written notice by first-class mail of the August 20th, 2020 hearing pursuant to MCL Section 125, as a property owner who lives within 300 feet of the subject property. The minutes reflect he did not appear at the hearing, nor did he submit any written questions or objections for the ZBA to consider at the time of hearing. The statute provides a remedy to aggrieved parties such as Mr. Schaefer. It allows any party impacted by the ZBA determination to seek circuit court review to ensure proper procedures were followed by the ZBA. As a person provided notice of the hearing, the statute defines him as one who has standing to appeal the ZBA's final decision to circuit court. The statute requires that appeals be filed within 21 days after the minutes of the ZBA's decisions are approved. Because the minutes of the August 20th, 2020 meeting were approved on September 17th, 2020, Mr. Schaefer had until Thursday, October 8th, 2020 to file his appeal in the St. Clair County Circuit Court. Mr. Schaefer did not file a circuit court appeal within the time prescribed. Accordingly, this matter is closed. I would not allocate any of the city's limited administrative resources to address Mr. Schaefer's September 23rd correspondence. He may engage private counsel to find the answers he seeks. The city has no responsibility to relitigate a matter that has been finally resolved by statute, where the party seeking to do so did not participate in the process in the first place, nor avail himself of his statutory appellate rights. His appellate deadline expired nearly 1 year ago. If you have any questions, please contact me. Signed by Mr. Downey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question regarding the city manager's report? I know we've had some conversation about changing the ordinance on adults. Have we had any further movement on that?
Mrs. Gerstenberg?
Thank you, Mayor Stoneburner. Mayor Pro Tem Members, we are looking at the entire ordinance with regards to RV storage and boat storage, as well as extending the season for duck boats. We've had some meetings within staff, and we should have something to review in your manager's report.
What about snow, excuse me, I'm sorry, what about snowmobile trailers? Will that be added to that ordinance?
That is already part of that ordinance.
I know, can we look at that one too, please?
It is part of that, and
It
they're
is
looking
part
at the.
of
Oh,
ordinance.
okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Misunderstood.
Okay.
Mayor Stoneburner?
Yes.
So, Mrs. Gerstenberg, is the city actively reviewing all the ordinances? As far as the different ordinances that are on, that we've seen to be having some communication errors with,
Mrs. Gerstenberg?
that the public has had concerns with?
Thank you. Councilman Gillis, yes, that is why, as I said in my presentation, the council has taken a look at 18 ordinances over the past few years, which is quite a few and compared to past years. So we have been going through many of the ordinances in an attempt to make things better for the citizens of Algorithmic. We will continue to do so.
Can I ask a question, Mayor?
Yes.
Could we have a sit-down meeting with Lori one day and maybe even a closed session and go through all the
That would
ordinances?
be something,
No.
we're not allowed to do
No,
that.
okay.
No, we can't do that.
Mayor-
Mrs. Gerstenberg?
Mayor Stoneburner, the residents of Algonac are always welcome to contact their council members or, myself if they have any ideas about how ordinance should be changed or things that they don't like about them. To date, no one has submitted any of these changes.
Mayor, I would like to,
Yes.
Mrs. Gerstenberg, how can we get the ordinances to us so that we can change the things that are bothering citizens right now? Things that we need to take care of so that there's open transparency so that everybody understands what they are and we can change some things to make them for the better.
Well, there is the municipal code and it's online, so everyone can see it, and I know they look at it. You've seen the book, and it's huge. And so, as issues come up, we're looking at those first, and then doing a systematic look at everything on the backside, but our focus is trying to amend things that need to be amended to make things better. Making that our focus first is the ones that we're,
That's what
have,
I'm talking
yeah.
about.
Mhm. Mrs. Gerstenberg, can you add to that? Anything to that, or?
The one that we're working on right now is the recreational, it's called recreational equipment and boat storage. The parking of those vehicles on property, driveways, side yard, rear yards, includes utility trailers, snowmobile trailers, all of those items.
Mayor Stoneburner?
Yes.
Can I ask another question? I'm sorry. Is there a way we can make like a small booklet up that is like our basic ordinances that we can send to all new residents? Maybe even to all the residents, it'll be a small booklet, say it's the
What's that?
No, it's.
Well, what I mean is just like our major ones, so like our snowmobiles, you know, that kind of stuff. Could we do like even on the back of one of the water?
Is it online? Is it online, Jake?
Yeah.
It's online, and they're able to access, anyone in Michigan, anyone that accesses our website can find anything, and it has a really good search engine there too. So you can type something in and then you'll see wherever that word, like snowmobiles or recreational vehicles or whatever, and you'll see any place that, or any ordinance that has that word in it.
It's highlighted in yellow.
Yeah, and it does, it highlights,
It's
it is
highlighted
nice,
in
cause I
yellow.
do look at those. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's way too thick to be,
Yeah.
you know, but if somebody needs help doing it, email me, I'll help you find it, you know, it's there, and it's a lot easier, an easier search engine than I thought it was going to be, much easier, so,
Mayor Stoneburner?
Yes.
May I address?
yes.
Denise, city manager, Gerstenberg, I'm sorry. So I understand this correctly, and our citizens do as well. If they have an issue with an ordinance that is current on our books and they would like to add, change, edit, what have you, that is something submitted either in writing or via email, is that correct? It can't be a phone conversation they had with somebody. It needs to be some type of documentation, is that correct?
It would be best if they submitted their suggestion in writing, either to myself or any member of city council, as to what they would like to see changed, why they would like to see it changed. We may already be looking at it, or maybe something that we need to look at.
And would there be a timeline on a response to these citizens if they did put something in writing? Is there a timeline that we would get back to them in writing as well?
As soon as we got the request, we would say, thank you for letting us know, we will look into it. Then we would have to take a look at the change, how it would affect everyone. It has to be drafted by the city attorney, it has to be reviewed by council, it may have to go to the planning commission, depending on if it's a zoning ordinance or not. We'd have to see if it's even legal to make the change, so, I mean, but it would take a couple of months before you actually see it change if it was gonna happen.
Okay, thank you. I was looking for a timeline for our citizens, so they would know that if they did write a letter and somebody get back with them within 10 days, that there's a 60-day window, let's say, more or less. Is that correct?
Well, for example, we have an ordinance that we're working on right now, so the first step is that it would be reviewed by city council, then it would go to the city attorney to be put into the proper format, then it may or may not have to go to the planning commission. And then after that, it would go to council for introduction and then for adoption.
Wonderful, thank you. Appreciate that.
Mayor Stoneburner,
Yes.
one last question. So it would typically take almost 2 months to change an ordinance based on the required steps.
At least, so like right now, the planning commission only has 4 regularly scheduled meetings. Their next meeting is, they have one Monday and then they have another one in January. So unless we call this special meeting, yeah, it would take at least 2 months.
Can I
Can you
know,
ask after?
yes, yeah,
Let's talk after.
cause I have an idea.
Let's talk after the meeting. All right, thank you for your report. Now it is time to approve our consent agenda. Today's meeting, the consent agenda that we're being asked to approve is our city council meeting minutes from October 5th, 2021, our departmental reports, which consist of light enforcement, building, DPW, finance, fire department, water department, and our communications and notices, which consist of boards and commission roster, housing commission minutes from August 23rd, 2021, and library board minutes from July 15th, 2021. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Any questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we've approved our consent agenda. We have no unfinished business, so we'll get right into our new business. And this is an introduction to an amendment to, Chapter 44, Utilities, Article 2, Water, by revising Division 2 cross connections in its entirety. This has been submitted by our city manager and our water plant supervisor. The city of Algonac is required under Public Act 399, Part 14, to initiate a cross connection control program to identify and eliminate any possible connections that could contaminate the public water system. The residential program consists of inspection of the exterior of the home and periodic testing of backflow prevention assemblies, which are typically found on lawn irrigation systems. Improperly installed backflow preventers will require assistance from a licensed plumber to make the necessary improvements. If the backflow preventer is installed properly, it still needs to be tested to ensure it operates according to the manufacturer's specifications. To accommodate the cross-connection control program in compliance with the State Department of Eagle, the city attorney has drafted the attached ordinance that we've all received. This ordinance amendment establishes the cross-connection program. May I have a motion, please?
I make a motion, resolve to introduce an amendment to Chapter 44, Utilities, Article 2, Water, by revising Division 2 cross connections in its entirety as presented.
Support.
Discussion?
Just a comment, this is mandated by the state, correct?
Is that correct? It's been,
Yes, that is correct.
and we already have one in place for businesses.
And there is a backflow preventive program through the state of Michigan, from what I understand, where these are regularly checked and maintained by either a certified plumber or by the water department. Is that correct as well?
That's for commercial and industrial, there is a statewide program, yes.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Bendis.
Yes.
Councilman Blair.
Yes.
Councilman Gillis.
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris.
Yes.
Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Scarback.
Yes.
Mayor Stemberger.
Yes.
Motion carried.
And because of what we just introduced, we are now introducing an amendment to Chapter 44, Utilities, Article 3, Sewer, Division 1 generally, by revising Section 68, Authority to establish rules and regulations in its entirety. This is the program that we just were talking about. To accommodate the cross-connection control program in compliance with EGLE, the city attorney has drafted the attached ordinance, and this ordinance amendment authorizes the city to establish the rules and regulations regarding that program. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to introduce an amendment to Chapter 44, Utilities, Article 3, Sewer, Division 1 generally, by revising Section 68, Authority to establish rules and regulations in its entirety as presented.
Support.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Blair,
Yes.
Councilman Gillis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris.
Yes.
Councilman Martin,
Yes.
Councilman Scarback,
Yes.
Mayor Stoneburner,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bembas.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, next we're being asked to approve the 2021 St. Clair County Mutual Aid Agreement. This was submitted by Chief Doan. The City of Algonac Emergency Operations Plan requires that the St. Clair County Association of Fire Chiefs Mutual Aid Agreement and the amended Michigan Mutual Aid Box Alarm System Association Agreement be reviewed and updated as needed every 3 years. The last agreement was approved by City Council on June 19th, 2018. This agreement has been reviewed and there are no changes. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the 2021 St. Clair County MABAS Division Number 3207 amended Michigan Mutual Aid Box Alarm System Associations Agreement and St. Clair County Association of Fire Chiefs Mutual Aid Agreement as presented, and direct the mayor to sign the agreement on behalf of the city.
Support. Discussion? This is so important, so very important. Roll call, please.
Councilman Gillis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris.
Yes.
Councilman Martin,
Yes.
Councilman Scarback,
Yes.
Mayor Stoneburner.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bembas.
Yes.
Councilman Blair.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next, we're being asked to approve the water plant chlorine feed pump. A chlorine feed pump injects a precise amount of chlorine into the water when needed. The water plant currently has one, but not a backup if the existing one goes down. We received 2 quotes. It's recommended to accept the bid from the low bidder, RS Technical Services. May I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve the purchase of chlorine feed pump from RS Technical Services, Inc., whose address is 695 Lincoln Lake Avenue in Lowell, Michigan, in the amount of $2,901.65, and direct the city manager to sign a quotation on behalf of the city.
Second.
Discussion?
I, just wanna say I'm so happy that we are getting a backup, that we are not waiting.
And I just wanna say, I knew you were gonna say that.
You did. I'm sure you all did, like, here he goes.
Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Harris.
Yes.
Councilman Martin,
Yes.
Councilman Scarback.
Yes.
Mayor Stoneburner,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bembas.
Yes.
Councilman Blair.
Yes.
Councilman Gillis.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next, we're being asked to approve the pay estimate number 1 for the Robbins Street Road and Water Main Project. On April 20th, 2021, City Council approved awarding the bid for the Robbins Street Road and Water Main Replacement Project to the low bidder Superior Contracting Group in the amount of $593,098.75. Engineering consultant, HRC, has certified the list of quantities completed from September 3rd through September 24th, 2021, as noted on the attached payment application. These monies were budgeted in the fiscal year 2021. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve pay estimate number 1 for Robin Street Road and Water Main Project to Superior Contracting Group, whose address is P.O. Box 388, Dryden, Michigan 48428, in the amount of $105,169.72.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Martin,
Yes.
Councilman Scarback,
Yes.
Mayor Stoneburner,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bembas.
Yes.
Councilman Blair,
Yes.
Councilman Gillis.
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next, we're being asked to award the bid for the Algorithmic Clay Library Cleaning Services. Per the 2007 agreement for System Library Services, the St. Clair County Library System agrees to reimburse the city for the cleaning of the Algorithmic Clay Library, which is located at 2011 St. Clair River Drive. The city invoices the county monthly for the cleaning services. We received 4 quotes for cleaning services, and it's recommended we accept the bid from the low bidder, Cleaning by Candy LLC, which is a Clay Township company. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to award bid for the Algorithmic Clay Library Cleaning Services, Cleaning by Candy, whose address is 9270 Maple Road, Clay, Michigan 48001, at the rate of $180, 2 times per week, $720 per month, for a total of $8,640 per year, and direct the city manager to sign the contract on behalf of the city.
Support. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Scarbeck,
Yes.
Mayor Stoneburner,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bembas,
Yes.
Councilman Blair,
Yes.
Councilman Gillis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris.
Yes.
Councilman Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Next, we're being asked to approve the payment for the building department services. May I have a motion, please?
Make a motion, we approve payment for the building department construction services and office hours in the amount of $2,824.40 to Tracy Calick, building official services for the month of August 2021.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Stoneburner,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Bembas,
Yes.
Councilman Blair.
Yes.
Councilman Gillis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris,
Yes.
Councilman Martin,
Yes.
Councilman Scarbeck.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next, we're being asked to approve our accounts payable and payroll. May I have a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion to approve accounts payable and payroll in the amount of $241,617.77.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Bembas,
Yes.
Councilman Blair.
Yes.
Councilman Gillis,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harris,
Yes.
Councilman Martin,
Yes.
Councilman Scarbeck,
Yes.
Mayor Stoneburner.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Mrs. Gerstenberg, what is on our agenda for our next meeting?
Thank you, Mayor Stoneburner. The school feasibility study, a utility bill printing processing item. Adoption of the ordinance that was introduced this evening for both water and sewer. Sheriff Matt King will be here for a presentation. And Councilman Bembas and Gillis, will be having their haircuts.
Okay, how about that?
Is it haircut or is it shaved?
Shaved.
Shade.
There we go.
Shade.
There's a big difference in those
Can
words.
we
The
put
zero
in the,
blade.
I make a motion that, city council buy us each a hat.
Of our choice. Will you wear it?
I'll have to get my old post office hat out.
Thank you. All right, council comments, Councilman Blair.
Good evening, all. Thanks for everybody for coming out. Want to give another shout out to Snoopy's. If you haven't been there, you should. I'm sure everybody in this room has. If not, you should try to go up there. Always a good time. Tish puts on. It's always a great atmosphere. Second, I'll speak for the council, release myself, condolences to Mr. Strife. I know he was a long Algorithmic Lions member and a friend of many in this room. Third off, we had a little event Saturday, and I'll let Mike say all about that, of course, but I happened to stop up there late in the afternoon, and it was a fabulous event from just what I've seen, so hopefully we'll have more like that. I appreciate all our citizens who come to us with concerns. I hope that we are showing transparency for you guys, and we can try to do the best we can to work with each other. Halloween's coming up, let's be safe, and everybody have a great night.
Thank you. Councilman Gillis.
First of all, I'd like to apologize to Mr. Kleeman. I spoke out of turn earlier, and it was your turn to speak and not mine. So I'd like to apologize to you for violating, and also like to apologize to this body. But as a father, when I see a picture of my child's play toy being shown on display, I got a little upset. I will explain the whole process, and if anybody would like to drive by my house, that dirt has been spread. I received a phone call from a friend of mine that said, hey, I'm gonna have 4 truckloads of free fill dirt, and me, like many other residents in this community, had problems with flooding. I said, great, drop it off. I came down immediately and applied for my land disturbance permit, which, if anybody would like, I will provide a copy of to anybody that would like it. The dirt got dropped off, and I could not find a contractor. This past week, somebody came to my home and spread all the dirt. So the dirt is now spread. So there was no violation of any ordinances because it was an open permit on the property. So, again, I apologize for speaking out of turn, but that is what is happening. If anybody'd like to drive by my home, it is 381 Center Street, the corner of Michigan Center, and all the dirt has been spread on my child's play lot. So, now that we got that out of the way, we as a council, we represent not just the 30 people that sit in this room, we represent 4,167 residents of this city. I said last meeting, if anybody has a concern, email the city manager, email me, email anybody on this board. Do you know how many emails I've received in the past 2 weeks from citizens? The answer is 0. I don't know if it's maybe that there's no trust in me, maybe there's not, but I can't address a problem unless you email me, email him, email this board. We cannot address the issues without knowing what's going on, without having an open dialogue. So if anybody would like to email us, please. We also represent the people we see at the grocery store. We represent the people we see walking down the street. So you may not hear what they think, and they could be totally different than what the people that you think. So we have to come together and figure out the best way. Mrs. Gerstenberg stated tonight, they were already starting work on changing some of the ordinances that have been brought to our attention. So if people think we're not listening, we are. There's ordinance changes being made already. So with that, I'd like to say, if you have an issue, email me, email any member of council, email the city manager. We can address them that way. We don't read every Facebook page that's out there. I did on Saturday night, and some of the things that people are concerned about, I started writing them down. But we're full-time, most of us have full-time jobs, we have families. We can't fix a problem unless we know about it. Thank you.
Don?
Yeah, I didn't do it.
I know you didn't, but could I talk to you for a minute after the meeting? Please don't rush out.
No, and if
I
you
wanna touch
guys,
base with you on
and
something.
if you guys will, before you guys, and I know it's not what we do, but before you guys leave the table, I have an idea that I would like to point out before you guys walk away. After you guys adjourn, when the meeting's adjourned, yeah, you guys are adjourned.
All of us together.
Yeah, after you're adjourned.
Can't make any decisions.
Shouldn't be,
Okay.
shouldn't be an issue.
Okay, good. I just
Only-
need
no,
clarification.
I know.
I
Oh.
was thinking we're violating an Open Meetings Act, and I was worried
Oh,
about that.
no, it's,
Okay.
like I said, it's just cause I got you there.
Okay.
It's nothing bad,
Okay,
it's just an
let's go
idea.
through this.
Yeah, it's
All
just an
right.
idea.
Okay.
He started.
What's the best way to eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Things need to change. Some ordinances are out of date. Some we have no control over because state of Michigan says it has to be that. We've changed 18 in the last few years. Many of them loosening up some of the archaic rules that have been in place for 50, 60 years. Things take time. I think we're working toward that goal. I know that a few years ago, Mr. Gillen and I started a Facebook page to help people who may not be able to fix what's considered blight. I know this man cut a lot of people's lawns for free right before COVID of senior citizens because they couldn't get their lawns cut. And I know I've helped people too. We know a lot of groups that do more than just put on festivals. We know groups that help people. I know this man here, we belong to a group called Algorithmic Alive, and he put in a thing that if any business does some remodeling, does it in a nautical way, they can get a city or a grant through Algorithmic Alive to fix up their property, and we're looking at ways to do that for citizens. But it's not something that changes overnight. But we are looking at those kind of things. think we're doing the best we can to satisfy both ends of the same rope. On a happier note, Halloween in the Neck, my wife always calls it Algorithmic in the Neck, and it drives me nuts because I started calling it that too, but we must have had about 500 kids out there this weekend. It was twice as big as what it was last year with all the businesses and a lot of the charitable organizations in the community. We even had Pearl Beach Lions out there, so we're getting businesses from Clair and putting on games for kids. We had twice as many games. We had Blue Sky Riley, famous singer from Algonac, sing the national anthem, and she wants to come back and have a whole set next year. And we had pirates and jugglers and fun things for the kids, all free, all free. We had a craft show there. We were thinking we'd get 6, 7 crafters. We had 34. You know, Algonac is becoming a place where people do want to visit and they do want to have fun. Are we ever going to have industry here? No, it's not going to happen. Algonac's built up. Are we ever going to have it downtown like Marine City? Nope, that changed in 1975 when they tore down old downtown. It's not going to change back. But we can make it a happy, fun place to live. Anybody knows new banners out there that we got? I think they're very nice. Keep them with the season, and we'll do more of that. And we really want this to be a bedroom community. Algonac has the fastest growing property values in this part of St. Clair County. And part of that is what we do here, as far as controlling blight, as far as fixing up things in the city. Those rising property values help people with retirement funds. You build equity in your homes for those rainy day emergency funds. I think we're on the right path here. Sometimes we're not gonna see eye to eye. That doesn't mean one side's right and the other's wrong. It means we need to come together and talk to make it better. There's rules and regulations set by the state of Michigan. Can't change those. Just not gonna happen. Okay, mandates. We've all heard that word. We get mandated. Not much we can do with that, but we do have good things going on in the city. I know we had Polish Fest from Diane Chmulski, ran that just a few weeks ago. Huge turnout, turning away at the door, so many people. So we got good things going on. I'm glad to live here, I'm glad in what we do, and I know we're gonna keep doing that. Okay, I think that's enough.
That's enough, okay.
Okay.
Councilman Martin.
I guess I just want to stress that I believe I've been accessible to people through all the years I've been involved in city government. I plan on continuing to be accessible. I have a letter here from somebody. I think we all have that letter, but I will make contact with that person. I've had a short discussion with our city manager, and I will speak with him. I did head down and speak with Mr. Schaefer, and I've looked at what he was talking about, and I will continue to do those things, and I want people to know that. There's a paragraph here on our presentation for Snoopy's, and I'd like to stress on this paragraph. It says Snoopy's is a family-friendly hometown bar and restaurant, open 7 days a week, even on Christmas Day. Despite floods, they started in 1981, and we had our ice jam and floods in 1986. They suffered through that, but they continued. COVID set them back. They've endured over the years and remain a well-known staple in the community, and hopefully will for many more years to come. I shoot in pool leagues, and we shot at Snoopy's last night and had a great time. You feel comfortable. It's a welcoming place. And I played softball for them back in the day when I felt I could run the bases. So, great place for all of us, and I congratulate them and thank them for what they do. Thank you.
All right. Councilwoman Harris.
I wanna thank Snoopy's for the great service they give to the community. I also am a patron. I also wanna extend my condolences to Dr. John Strite and his family. And considering the ordinances and the blight, I'm still trying to get my feet wet. I respect all the 6 people I serve up here with, and I haven't seen any one of us intentionally try to stonewall the public. And everyone knows me. You can get me on, you know where I live. You can get me through Facebook. My email's available, and I am trying. That's what I'm trying to say. I think we all are trying. So thank you so much for coming tonight, and thank you for talking. I know it's difficult to get up and say things to people, but I wanna thank you all.
Councilman Scarpet.
I wanna thank you all for coming out tonight. Excuse me. I just wanna thank Snoopy's for their 40 years of dedication to this community. They're always helping out in the community, they're donating when they're asked, and they're always there for us. And they always got signs up, go Muskrat, they're always there. Another thing is, we officially raised all our money we need for the Derby. So the Derby is 100% a go with everything, nothing will be changing on it. And we are still taking donations and sponsorships, so if you guys wanna sponsor, let me know. But yeah, it's 100% a go, and we are adding a pit bike race on Friday. So now Friday, we're gonna have jumps in the track. We're gonna allow 50 cc's, 70, and 110 class. And that'll go Friday from 5 to whenever it stops, hopefully before 10:30 for noise ordinance. And we'll be having the beer tent both nights. So it's gonna be $15 at the door, and that's good for a wristband for the whole weekend. And it's $10 in advance, good for the whole weekend also. It's gonna be a $5 door entry for the beer tent to get into, and then beer tent prices. We're gonna have monster trucks there for the kids to take photos with. There's gonna be vendors there selling t-shirts, and we have a Derby shirt that says "Talk Derby to Me," Algorithmic Derby 2021. So those will be getting made, and it'll just be a fun time. So if you guys are bored, come on out. And it's rain or shine, so wear your mud boots if it's raining, because we're gonna be rocking. And on top of it, I just wanna add to what everyone else is saying, our government's slow. Everything in government is slow. Nothing's gonna change overnight. We are listening to you, we hear you, and we're trying. And on that's all I have to say tonight. Thank you guys for coming. Have a good night.
I too want to congratulate Snoopy's again. There is never a time that Tish and her family don't reach out to people that need help. And sometimes they're wading through water with the high water and the COVID problems that we had and being able to keep businesses open. It truly affected them and all our businesses. But they still were out there helping other people, even though they were hit drastically during all those times. So, Tish and her family have a heart of gold, and I'm so thankful they're part of our community. I love it. As Councilman Gillis said, email us. Our emails are on the website. You don't even have to write it down. You just click, it'll take you right to an email, and you can send us an email. I do get emails from residents. I did get one since our last meeting, but I have gotten them, and one I feel was real important. It was an eye-opener for me, even though I know it affected me at one point, a year ago. And that was, it precipitated the change in the recreational ordinance that we are. And it was because somebody emailed me and brought it to my attention. I had people talking before in passing. I do talk to the community, not just at functions, but in the grocery store when you see them, or at the bank. And we do have a bank, it's called North Star. It's not where I'd like it to be, it'd be nice if it was right here, but we do have a bank in Algorithmic. But they brought up the things with the recreational ordinances, but they weren't complaining. It was just a comment about it. But I brought it, and I know other people have brought it to the city manager, like, what can we do? And we're looking at it. We're looking at changes. But the one thing I did different when I parked my boat in my yard is I came here because I knew, or I thought I was gonna violate the ordinance. I didn't violate the ordinance because the front of my house is where my garage is. I have an L-shaped house, but it was out a little bit from the front of the main part of my house. And I came because I'm a rule follower. You guys know that. And I came and I talked to, the people in the city. I talked to our blight enforcement officer. I talked to the building inspector. I talked to the city manager in passing on it, but we were able to park it there. But it also says in that ordinance, if you have an issue with it, come in and talk to somebody. It doesn't say it in that many words, but it does have that in the ordinance. And that's what I did. But we are a voting community, and I am proud to say we're a voting community. I have not forgotten that for one single second. And in my family, I have an avid hunter. I know the boats are there, and it's an inconvenience for them. So we're looking into it, but it takes time. But as soon as I got that email, it started the conversation, and we're looking into it, because we do listen to you. I have met with residents, made suggestions to look at the ordinance. One of the residents was handed the ordinance to say, write down what you think we need to change on this to help you in your situation. That was in June, and I'm still waiting. I can't make people do things that they don't want to do. And so I'm a little frustrated hearing that. But talk to us. Most of the people here know I'm pretty easy to talk with. Not everybody here knows that. But I am, and I do want to hear from you. I'd like to hear the great things that's happening in your life, but if there's something that we can do to help you, to remedy a situation, talk to us. Now, to the people at home, if you get a ticket, here I'm saying it too, just like everybody else. If you get a notice, your first place you should go to is to the city. And I wasn't explicit with that when I spoke before. That's the first place, because I don't know anything about what you have. Talk with them first, but then, here we are, we're here. You can contact us. Email's the easiest, and most people can get to us through their phones and, or their laptops or whatever, any electronics. Come by my house. I think a lot of people know where I live. Come on by. It's no secret. Everybody can Google everybody else's address and birthdays and everything else. Come on by and talk to me. And I have met some very nice people that have moved to the neighborhood, and they showed up to Algorithmic in the Nat, you know. But anyway, please talk to us, because we can't do anything when you haven't talked to us. And I don't watch Facebook that much. I don't look at it all the time, and sometimes it doesn't even affect the person that is talking about it. So if you have an issue, please, first try with the city, then talk to us. And if you have an idea on how to make things smoother, talk to us. And one last thing, our next meeting is a big one. We're gonna have 2 bald guys. And I wanna thank Annie for Annie from Oh, yeah.
Ouch! That was good.
Annie from Annie's Cut and Curls and Marie from Lily Rose will be with us, so we will have professionals cutting their hair. I can't wait.
Shaving it.
Shaving it, yeah, that is different, yeah, shaving your hair,
Yes.
so. And with that, do we have a motion to adjourn this very long meeting?
I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Good job, buddy.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right.